G'day you cheeky dogs. Today we're going to be looking at the Bluey episode Asparagus and all the Easter eggs and hidden details in it, the very dark Australian references in it, why Ludo got hate mail about it, as well as the theory of magic and magic existing in the Blueyverse for this specific episode, and then just my overall thoughts, feelings, and review of this episode as well.
Oh no! It's stuck like this forever!
But if you love seeing like unhinged Bluey episodes like this one as well, don't forget to hit that like button down below, as well as that subscribe button and that bell for notifications so you know whenever I release any other Bluey videos, which I do, like 3 or 4 a week if I can do it. But otherwise, let's just jump into Asparagus.
Now that's taken care of, I need you to do a little something for me.
Chicken!
Now, before we talk about the dark Australian references, I do want to talk about the theory of, magic existing because of this episode. And is it actual magic being used? Because again, this popped up on Reddit like a bunch of different times. And a lot of people, think that this kind of shows that there's magic, which backs up, the episode Feather Wand, as well as the episode Magic specifically in season 3 and the episode Fairies. However, a lot of people do think that children are just unreliable narrators. And of course, Bluey is mostly seen through her eyes as the main character. So because we're seeing it through her eyes and she's an unreliable narrator, all of the things that she's imagining is what is magic.
Where'd they go? There you are. Walrus.
And it's just her use of imagination that is very magical, and that's why, of course, that very first scene we see that it doesn't work on Bingo straight away. We have to wait until Bingo wants to also participate, and then it becomes magical from then onwards.
Donkey! It worked! Hedgehog! No, I want to be a piglet. Piglet!
So that kind of is the main thoughts and theories about that episode specifically for magic, but of course that doesn't also make sense for the episode Fairies. Why is there a fairy? I have talked about this before. But what do you cheeky dogs think? Make sure you let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think this episode supports the idea that magic exists in Bluey? Or do you think it supports the idea that Bluey is just an unreliable narrator and it's her imagination that is magical?
Can't just grab people and swing them around?
Now, let's get into those dark Australian references and other little Aussie references as well.
One Sunday morning as I went walking by Brisbane waters, I chanced to...
So this song that Pat is singing is actually a song about a convict prison and how badly they were treated and enslaved and had shackles around their legs and were flogged. And it comes from the 1830s. It is an old Australian folk ballad. And it's a pretty dark one to be honest, but it does specifically reference Brisbane, and Brisbane is where Bluey is located. So I can see why they probably chose to use it.
One Sunday morning as I went walking by Brisbane waters, I chanced to...
Some more light-hearted Australian references though is that we do see a picture of the Sydney Opera House that one of the girls have drawn. We see it for a split-second moment when Bandit is pretending to poop on the rug in the playroom.
Fourth manners is, don't go to the toilet on the rug.
And of course, we also see Pat hanging up a lot of sports jerseys as well, which is either he's doing the washing for the whole team for the weekend, for the rugby team, because it looks like rugby jerseys, or maybe he is the professional rugby player and he just has lots of jerseys because that's his job.
Ready for this? Oh yeah, come on Maroons!
As for some of the other little details that maybe you might have missed and the Easter eggs, we do have a really fun long dog in this one. This is up in the tree when Bandit is the peacock before he turns into the walrus. If you look to the other side of the tree, you see a little long dog there in the shape of a snail, because I guess the asparagus also hit him and he turned into a snail too.
That's it. You animals need to learn some manners. Daddy Walrus, no doing that thing.
There's also a fun little detail with the music as well. So in the scene where Bandit is a walrus, they actually play one of the songs from Carnival of the Animals, specifically The Elephant from Camille Saint-Saëns. So I do love when obviously the music also emulates what's happening on screen.
I love this.
Now, as for the reception of this episode, like I mentioned at the start, Ludo did kind of get a couple of hate emails about this, because Joe Brom talked about in an interview saying that a lot of parents just really did not like this episode and actually emailed in about it.
Well, I got to keep reminding myself that it's aimed at 4 to 6 year olds, but 4 to 6 year olds don't write emails in, but a lot of adults do. So amongst adults, we've had a lot of feedback. There's one app which kind of divides parents a lot. Some of them hate it, asparagus, the waving an asparagus around and turning people into animals. But it's kids just go nuts for it generally.
And I find this interesting because on the flip side on Reddit, it is rated like kind of highly as well. And a lot of people seem to really love how unhinged it is and how funny it is. And honestly, I think the writing and the animation in this is really hilarious. Everything from like all the different animal jokes in it. And especially, of course, the joke with Lucky's dad being like actually bitten by Chili and Bingo, but he's still wagging his tail the whole time. So he's having fun.
Sorry, Lucky's dad.
No worries, Bluey. I shouldn't have let my guard down.
I honestly just think that the animators did such a good job because, yeah, this episode is kind of ridiculous and unhinged and has very Looney Tunes kind of feel and vibes to it. It's just a completely wacky episode. And honestly, my kids absolutely love it for that reason. It's one of their favorite episodes.
Put me down. Ah, bear cat.
Hey, hey!
Polly Poppy. Mouse. Penguin.
Which I love that it is, but I do feel like the lesson is kind of completely lost on them. They just remember the game and like using the Magic Asparagus toy, which you can actually get if you go and see like Bluey's Big Play, you can get an actual Magic Asparagus toy. But like they'll play this game with me all the time, just like using any kind of object around the house to make me turn into an animal. But completely forget about the lesson about how it is important to have manners.
Bluey, don't talk with your mouth full. And sit up straight. Don't slouch. It's bad manners.
And that's basically the lesson as well here, is like, why do parents tell you to do things in terms of manners? Because it's important to have them, otherwise you turn into an animal. And I feel like this also does kind of fall in line with a lot of the like British standard of manners, because again, in Australia, it's always like, oh, you know, would the Queen say that? Which Bluey even references in like the episode Dunny.
Would the Queen say Dunny?
No. It is not a word the Queen would use.
Then I'm not saying it either.
And I feel like they tried to kind of hit home a little bit with that, with Bluey at the very end saying pip pip to her mum. Because pip pip is not really something you would say in Australia. It's a very British slang term to say like bye bye, toodaloo, that kind of thing.
Pip pip.
Well, that's more like it.
So I feel like that was kind of like where they were trying to go with that. You know, manners are very important, very, you know, royalty, professional, British, that kind of thing. And like from like upper class. And then we have like the colony convict song from Pat being sung on the other side of the fence. But I don't know, that's just sort of something that like I read into it with that pip pip line and what Pat was singing.
Is this bad manners?
Bingo!
Overall though, for me, I would probably give this episode 4 out of 5 long dogs because I do laugh every single time I watch it. Yes, it is unhinged and it is really, really funny, and it does spur children into playing that game, which I do kind of really love. I think that's one of the biggest parts of Bluey, is the fact that it can come up with these really fun games that kids can very easily emulate if they haven't played something like that before. And also it's kind of an easy one for parents to play along with as well. So I do really love it for that reason. But cheeky dogs, let me know in that comment section down below, how many long dogs would you give this episode out of 5, and what did you think of the lesson and the unhinged moments? Was there a favorite animal scene that you had from one of the characters in this episode as well? I want to know all your thoughts and feelings down below, and while you're down there as well, don't forget to hit all those buttons, like, subscribe, and comment, as well as if you'd like the join button as well, if you can see it. If you can't, it's in the description box with a link. It'll give you early access to all my videos, as well as a bunch of other different perks if that's something you're interested in. But until my next video, I have picked you cheeky dogs out a few other videos that maybe you would like to watch, and I will see you all in another video. Mwah! Bye!